What's up, guys? A few things today I would like to add regarding the price of Bitcoin, where will it go, and what are the things, the features which we are looking at. Before that, I have something else to point out. Here's an article from Ross Ulbricht. If you don't know who is Ross Ulbricht, he actually a founder and owner of Silk Road website, which was used for buying and selling many things, including drugs, and it accepted Bitcoin. That's why Ross Ulbricht went to jail, and there's a lot of controversy about that he's not guilty, he's just the owner of the website, and so on and so forth. So some people think that he's actually innocent in that case, and he's a victim of all that story. But anyway, now he is posting a lot of the content about the analysis of the price of Bitcoin based on Elliott wave theory. I'm not quite sure how relevant and how deep and reasonable his knowledge and experience in this area is, but still it's interesting to look at his perspective as the very old person in the space. Maybe he has some interesting insights. So basically, in this article, he pointed out that there are three possible scenarios in terms of the Elliott wave theory and the price of Bitcoin. First scenario is that we went to wave 5 at $20,000, and then we had a correction A, B, C, and the C correction is not over yet, so C should be below $3,000, and we are now basically approaching to that point. Another option is that we actually had 1, 2, 3 wave before, and $20,000 is the end of the wave 3, and now we are having fourth part and fifth part. So fourth part ended at $3,000, so fifth part is just evolving right now. It means that we will not go below this area, and we'll probably go much higher than $20,000 eventually. This is a kind of a positive scenario, but the ultimate scenario which he kind of leaned to, I think, is the one that the whole history, the previous history of Bitcoin, is just the first wave. One huge wave, and now we are in the middle of the wave 2, which will go much lower than $3,000, washing out everyone from the market, leading to a huge depression. But eventually, the good thing is that after that we will see the wave 3, which will be absolutely enormous, and then wave 4 with a correction, and then even the wave 5, which will go much higher than all the expectations which we're thinking about. So I don't know, $1 million, $10 million, maybe more. And as you can see, in two of those scenarios, we are having the low below $3,000. So you should decide whether you believe, whether you trust this person or not, but it's still an interesting perspective. Now regarding the price and what I actually forgot to tell you yesterday. Well, I had this on Telegram. After the rise of the price to $7,400, there's actually the bearish divergence on 4 hours time frame with RSI. You see the price on RSI max, the highs of our price went lower, but the highs of the RSI indicator went to the upside, meaning where they are growing, meaning that there is a bearish divergence. In fact, this part already played out. So you see this drop from $7,500 to $6,500 perfectly played out, and then we have another one here, and this is not that pretty because we have this intermediate high over here. So in principle you need to do something like this, and then it's not a divergence but convergence, so basically nothing interesting here. But if you will kind of neglect this part, maybe this divergence still will still play out at some point, and in fact we are already like $400 below the high at this area. What else I wanted to point out is that I drew this picture almost a year ago when we had these channels on the logarithmic time scale based on the lows and highs of the price in previous bull market, 16th and 17th year. And in fact, right now at the current bull market, they are also play a role. So for example, you see here it was the bottom, here it was the touch of the another trend line, here it was another pullback at $14,000, and right now too. So we are constantly testing the same lines, the same channels. And previously we had this intersection of the ascending and descending channel at the point of the reversal, and now we have exactly the same thing. The thing is, we need to see how the price will react with this formation, whether we'll crawl all the bottom of this channel and then eventually go up, or actually break it to the downside. Well, in the latter case, we will probably go much lower because it will break the long-term trend. And in fact, right now we are in kind of the last barrier before the massive bear market, I think, because like this is a very, very strong long-term trend. We actually pinned it a little bit already below this line, but we returned back, so it's a very dangerous situation right now. But we'll see how it will look like within the next few weeks. Another thing which I was going to point out short term is that we are forming kind of a bull flag right now with a target of $7,900, and technically I would say it will be really cool to see the rise and swipe all the short orders stops which are staying at this area. But from the technical analysis point of view, I think that this bullish pennant is not 100% valid just because this move wasn't organic move. So I would say we shouldn't really consider that, although this is exactly which is printed out right now at the charts. And in addition, about the divergence, with this bearish divergence on the 4 hours time frame, which is like stronger if it would be perfect, we have a bullish divergence on 1 hour time frame. This is a hidden bullish divergence. You see the lows are going higher on the price and lows are going lower with RSI, meaning that we have this hidden bullish divergence and the price may go higher from that point. And finally, the last but not least, this is the long-term picture which I was going to show you. Of course, it's kind of a speculation, but still we have this triangle in previous cycle, I mean part of the bull cycle and the bear market as well, and then it dropped after reaching $6,000, $6,500 to the certain area, like maybe 50% drop, and then eventually we have a very similar triangular formation over here, and then approaching the same $6,000, $6,500 zone. So one might expect that the price is kind of a consolidating around this $6,500 zone, and then we could see another drop below this zone, which would be proportional to the previous amplitudes of the oscillations over here. So here we had certain amplitude, here we have another amplitude, another one, and by the formula, like the ratio between the second and one, and then you multiply it by this amplitude, you will get the fourth amplitude, the drop below $6,000. So roughly estimating it will be something like $4,300, and in fact it wouldn't be the worst scenario, because still we will not go below $3,000, and after that we may actually see the continuation of the growth eventually. Yes, it will be long, and all that is kind of a huge accumulation zone, but it will be reasonable in terms of the market evolution. So don't quote me on that, but it will be very nice if this will play out and will healthy go up from that point. Moreover, you can see this $4,300 is some kind of a confluencing with this level over here, this kind of a resistance which we saw before in this accumulation, and then it might work as support. Not to mention that here we're also a little bit higher, though we have some key moving averages, so in principle it is not that crazy to expect this drop to happen. Okay guys, that is it for today. Let's see how the price will evolve in the next day or two, and I will keep you updated. So I hope that it was useful. Thank you for watching.